Andrew, we're going to ask you to go back just a couple of years, or maybe a few more than that. But if you had to offer your middle school or high school self, you might not necessarily change anything, but if there's something you could whisper into your own ear, just one bit of advice or encouragement, what might that be?
Oh, that's a good one, because as a kid, I was always thinking about what I would want to say to my adult self. So, in middle school, I was lucky enough that my mom was a substitute teacher, and I would leave class, and after school, while kids are getting on the bus, I would go into her classroom and waste all of her printer ink, printing up hundreds of pages on monkey exhibits, how to build exhibits, how to revolutionize zoos, all these different weird little quirky researches that I still have in a binder somewhere. But one of the thoughts I always had at the same time was, this is for later on. And I'm not to this day really sure why, but I think there's always this kind of projection from adults on kids that you can do whatever you want later. And I think it's important, especially for you in the middle school age, to understand that you are more capable as a kid than any generation in the history of this planet. You at your fingertips have things that 50, 60-year-olds would not have imagined they could do 50 years ago. And that includes starting businesses. That includes your ability to be, a leader to other kids, other adults. And you mentioned kid president as a very good example, as somebody who's found an influence as a kid and has a voice that is tremendously powerful, but also that energy and passion as a kid is unmatched. And when you can use that while you're still a kid, rather than this idea that I'm planning for something ahead of time, I still have my childhood passion. It's there and I love it, but it takes work as an adult to keep it going. And if you're doing that as a middle schooler rather than planning to do it, you're going to be so much more ahead of the game than so many people. So whatever your idea is, I encourage you to start now. Just whether you're printing off your research or you're writing out a checklist, or if you're going door to door collecting cans so you can recycle it and pay for the first $100 item that's going to be your business or venture. But just start now. And Loveworks is a great organization for this. This is why I've always loved you guys, is because you can go to so many after school programs and it feel a bit like an after school program. You're just there for the hour or two after school, and I get to go home with a cool experience. But Loveworks is a vision planner. When you are there, the kids are doing something that makes them think about what they could do for the rest of their lives. And so even just as a Loveworks kid, you have such an advantage. You've been trained to do this, but keep moving with that momentum. And even if you're not, don't wait. Focus on what you can do today, or just at least thinking about those action items.
That's so good. I love that. I mean, it sounds like a hashtag start now. I was just thinking, Andrew, as you were just talking, I mean, here's the thing. And I just want to look every middle school student in the eye and let them know this, that the older you get, the harder it gets.
Yeah.
Listen, like influencers, I don't get excited talking to old people like me. I mean, I've got to work on it. I've got to knock on doors like crazy. I got to keep knocking on doors when I get no's. But the younger you are, I don't want to say like the easier it gets, but I believe more people are willing right now to give you a shot, to give it a listen, if you're just willing, to step beyond the fear and out of your comfort zone and just make your voice known and just make it heard. So it's a great word. Start now.
Yeah.